Hello guys, it's Commander Hawk here, back with another Battlefront commentary. This is a decent gameplay. I kind of tore it up at the start and struggled after that, but today I'm here to talk about Disney owning Star Wars. And first of all, The Force Awakens is a good movie. They did a great job with it. J.J. Abrams did a good job. The actors did a good job. Plot was pretty good about finding Luke's map. And here at the start I get like 1,000 squad shields. But the plot was good with Force Awakens and stuff. But that's not here as much what I'm to talk about. But rather focus on Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels. So there was a series called Star Wars The Clone Wars, which I thought was great. It was 6 seasons long. Some seasons were a lot longer than others, but it pretty much focused on the time between episode 2 and episode 3. So it actually covered the Clone Wars, unlike the movies that kind of just had them there, but really only showed the actual warfare going on Geonosis, and then on the planets when Order 66 was about to happen. So it was cool how it actually showed different fights, such as Umbara. That was one of my favorite ones. And they weren't even fighting really droids on Umbara. There was, I believe, a couple of them in there, but it's more Umbara natives who were against the Republic. But that was cool. There's another assault on Geonosis. And my probably favorite thing about the series was how they had clones have personalities. Captain Rex is in there. He was a great character. And then there wasn't like plot armor as much. Like I guess the main character of the series would probably be considered Anakin, which of course you knew he wasn't gonna die. And then they had Ahsoka they added in there. But like some other characters who you thought would be a big deal weren't as protected by plot armor. I mean, there'd be episodes where Anakin and stuff, even though he's the main character, I'd say, wasn't even in. There's other Jedi, there's tons of different clone troopers, and every really cool clone trooper they'd kill off, they'd add 2 more really cool clone troopers. And they didn't really protect any of these really, really cool guys by plot armor. Like, Fives and Echo, I never imagined they'd die. They were in the Rookies episode, they were in the Camino Training episode, they were in Defensive Camino, they were in a couple more episodes of the 501st, and then they both ended up dying. Well, actually, Echo ended up surviving. I'll get more into that later, but Fives died, and Echo, they left it off at a cliffhanger, looked like he died. And, like, no one expected that. That did Gregor, and he was pretty cool. I'll get more him into later. And while there was some moments where the droids would suddenly miss shots, other times the droids would actually get a lot of kills, such as the Geonosis first landing, where Anakin's squadron and just had huge challenges, I guess is the best way to put it, into getting to where they need to go, and lost a lot of men. And it was just stuff like that made the series so good. And the series was canceled while making episode 7. There's a couple episodes of episode 7 that were kind of partially done out there on the internet, known as Bad Batch. There are going to be 4 episodes of them. Cool. And that was when we learned that Echo survived during those episodes. Of course, those didn't get released, because when Disney bought Star Wars, they canceled the series due to the series aired on Cartoon Network. And it's on Netflix now. I'd recommend watching it if you're into like Star Wars kind of stuff. It's a good series. Anyway, continuing on, Rebels was then made on Disney to replace this Clone Wars, and it was about this kid who's a Jedi, I guess. He wasn't announced at first, but he's a Jedi. He's got some friends, and the plot armor is massive. Like, they're not going to kill off any of the good guys. They managed to accomplish the feat of making the stormtroopers have even worse accuracy than they do in the movies. The only really good contribution, I guess, was the Inquisitors, and they've had some pretty stupid Inquisitors, but they just kind of showed more of the Inquisitors, which is kind of, they kind of got the idea canoned, but still, they had some pretty stupid Inquisitors to kind of not as make that point as good. But continuing on, the Stormtroopers had horrible accuracy and made the Empire leaders look like complete idiots, not being able to catch a kid and his little gang. They added Ahsoka back into it after she left the Jedi Order during Season 6 of the Clone Wars, and they're pulling other Clone Wars characters, such as some of my favorites, Rex, Gregor, and Wolfie, which is completely just outrageous due to Gregor was almost certainly killed, and if he wasn't, we have no, I don't see how they pull out their Order 66 chip, or just wouldn't work or something. Gregor had no idea, from what we know, Gregor, from what we know, never even went back to the Clone Order after he was at least injured during an explosion that probably should have killed him. I think it would have been a more honorable way to get him out. I mean, he's a really cool character. He needed to die honorable instead of being brought back as this old man to help this gang of kids. And then Wolfie as well was one of the Empire's best, well, he was one of the best clones, so I don't think the Emperor would just not know it if he somehow pulled out his Order 66 chip. I think the Emperor would keep better tabs on Wolfie and his crew. And actually in the movies, Wolfpack was shown, as my friend pointed out, shooting down Plo Koon, so obviously whole Wolfpack didn't not follow the Order. They betrayed the Jedi, so why would Wolfie just be different from the rest of Wolfpack? I don't know. And then Captain Rex, I wish he kind of went out in a more honorable way as a amazing trooper as he did in Clone Wars. And just, he was one of the, probably the best fighter shown in the Clone Wars out of the clones. I mean, he survived so much. Of course, part of this was the very little plot armor the Clone Wars did have. But he was probably my favorite character. There's also some other really cool clones that I like, such as Colt, just to name one. And then Gregor and Wolfie, to name a few others that were on this topic. But him coming back was stupid. And then they had the ATTE somehow survived, like, tank to AT-ATs, which is completely, just stupid. The AT-ATs, and illogical, like, the AT-ATs were made after the AT-ATs to be a better version of them. They had the firepower to blow up Rebel shield generator on Hoth in a few shots, but they can't destroy an ATTE in a ton of them. And then the ATTE would not be able to do anything to that armor. Yet in Rebels is portrayed as being able to do a ton to them and just completely tank the AT-AT's shot, which is just really impossible and kind of goes against how strong the AT-ATs were portrayed in the Hoth assault on the original trilogy. And I just hated that. Rebels has some other, I don't know, just plot armor. You know characters aren't going to die. They haven't really introduced any cool characters to the universe. They've kind of just ruined a lot of characters from Clone Wars, personally. I mean, Rex, Gregor. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Ahsoka, but I guess she was one of the more relevant ones to bring back due to she left the Jedi Order in the end, and they kind of left it on a mystery. Maybe it would be answered later, probably, in my opinion. I think Clone Wars would have done a better job of it, but Ahsoka isn't. Yes, they didn't ruin her too badly, but I don't know. Bringing back all the clones was stupid. The stormtroopers are even worse. The new vehicles that they've shown kind of are just like modified other vehicles. Like the new ATSC that was shown is not very good. I don't like really the art style. I don't know. If you're like a younger kid, the show is great, but it doesn't really add anything to the Star Wars universe at all. Kind of just takes away from a lot of the Empire's strength. I mean, they make the Empire look like these fools, and I mean, if they're really that foolish. How could they rule this whole galaxy, right? They just take away from the strengths of the Empire portrayed a lot in the films to make the Empire seem very hard to take down, such as the AT-ATs and the mass technologies they had, and they just kind of made the Empire look foolish, bad, make it look like kids can take them down. They just portrayed the Empire horribly, unlike the Clone Wars did to the droids, where while they did have some stupid droid jokes in there, they're droids. I mean, they were the CIS. They weren't an Empire, and they're once again they're droids. Their leaders weren't that stupid. They had portrayed some very good leaders on the CIS side, such as Trench. And then they portrayed a lot of, I guess, failures in the clone attempts at stuff, such as the Malevolence attack. The Plo Koon's fleet got pretty badly demolished by the Malevolence super weapon that shut down all their ships. While I don't think the Rebels have ever... I haven't watched very much of Star Wars Rebels, but from what I have seen, I don't think they've ever really lost any battles, or... I mean, obviously they haven't died because the plot armor is too strong, but they haven't. I think they've accomplished everything they wanted to without really losing any of the group, which is, I don't know. It's just, it puts the Empire and its enemies and the other enemies shown, like Inquisitors were getting wrecked. It brought back Darth Maul again, which Clone Wars also brought back Darth Maul, but they brought him back again for a third time. He made an appearance in different Star Wars. And in the Clone Wars, while not shown, I guess, not technically shown, Sidious was shocking Darth Maul to death, and to bring him back and act as if Sidious didn't finish him off is just stupid. Sidious would not have reclaimed him as an Inquisitor. He'd definitely kill him, judging by the way he saw him as a, I guess, imposter Sith. He would not keep him alive, and it's just, they didn't think through a lot of their stuff, and guess in correlation to the other Star Wars, they didn't add anything to the universe. They just took away from it, from a lot of the characters, and I don't know. It's just, I think they could have done a lot more, I guess, to make it more contribute to the universe rather than kid friendly. I get it's on Disney and stuff, but at least add something to contribute or not take away. Because these kids just being able to easily outdo an empire is straight out crazy. I mean, this empire was able to conquer the Republic, and their leader is not stupid. He played the Republic and the CIS to get him this power to build the Empire. He's not just stupid enough to not be able to catch these kids. It's just illogical. And they ruined favorite characters from the Clone Wars. I don't know. I would much rather prefer a Season 7 of Clone Wars with Bad Batch, and then possibly, that's all we know what they had in Season 7. They left a lot of cliffhangers with the Yoda thing and Ahsoka. So Season 7 could have been packed. And then, of course, continuing on, if they decide to do so, 8, 9, 10 would introduce even more clones and get even more in-depth with Order 66, maybe. Maybe we would see a better ending to Rex or something. But it's just, I don't know. Rebels took Clone Wars, shut it down. Well, Disney did. And they replaced it with Rebels, which took away from a lot of the Clone Wars characters. I'd just rather have them, keep Clone Wars alive. I mean, with Rogue One coming out anyway, we don't really need something of that era. And of course, Disney knew Rogue One was coming out, because it's probably been in production for quite a while. And of course, the planning stages and stuff was Disney did. So, there's no excuse that like they didn't know they were gonna make Rogue One or anything. It's just, I wish they'd continue Clone Wars and just not made Rebels, or at least if they're gonna make Rebels, leave the Clone Wars characters alone. First of all, you shut down the series, and now you're taking their characters. And personally, I don't consider Rebels like canon. I'm not gonna make any lore-ish videos on Rebel stuff. If I make a lore video on Rex, I'm gonna stop it at the end of Clone Wars. I mean, Rebels just takes away from so many characters from Clone Wars, a series that they shut down. It's, I don't know. And they replace them with more, just nothing really, that adds to the universe, just more kids outsmarting the Empire that was able to conquer the galaxy. That's my thoughts on Disney's thing owning. Once again, The Force Awakens was a good movie, and I'm pretty excited for Rogue One. And of course, them giving Origin the rights to do Battlefront was pretty great. But other than that, Rebels was just really bad. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this. Goodbye, and remember, Han shot first.
To open fire at the escape ship.
Walker has taken significant damage.